Hello, welcome to another first appearance rating video. Let's start out with a 10 out of 10. X-Men 56, The Living Monolith. I had made a video a long time ago that mentioned how I felt the Living Monolith is one of those underutilized characters in the Marvel Universe. Misused, underutilized, however you want to put it. I think that he could have such a much bigger role in the Marvel Universe. Such a beautiful, created character. I love this cover. I will save the close-up look of this book when I do the spotlight of this run of Neil Adams, but everything about this book is incredible. The art, I love the story, the work by Roy Thomas, Neil Adams, Tom Palmer, top notch. My all-time favorite Neil Adams run of all time. Beautiful. Such a cool looking character. And it's funny because it only brought to my attention a few months ago by Dr. Von Schiller, John, that X-Men 135 cover was a swipe of this cover. I can't believe that for years I never even thought about it. It never crossed my mind. I have both books for a long time, but it just escaped my thoughts until recently when he mentioned it. And sure enough, you pull up X-Men 135, you see the picture of Dark Phoenix crushing the logo, and then the X-Men team members scatter around. So yeah, 10 out of 10, perfection. Next up is two books that are, I figure it's good to do them both together since they are kind of ties in together. Forever People, #1, and New Gods, #1. Both books came out on the stand in December of 1970. The big intro of The Fourth World by the King, Jack Kirby. And in here is the more involvement of Darkseid. But I want to try to give the time to talking about Forever People. I'm not a big fan of Forever People. To me, it was, I would say it's the least of my favorite, but for sure, when you look at the member, right, I like Big Bear. But for me, the cowboy, Seraphim, I think in subsequent reimagination of this team, they have a change of the character to be Seraphina, a female cowboy. But for now, it's a cowboy. For some reason, the cowboy just stick out as a member of the team, and it just never worked for me for whatever reason. The rest of the team is okay. For that, I gave it a 3 out of 5 as far as the rating of the entire team combined. The story itself is really hard to rate the story of this book. Okay, that's fall in line with Jimmy Olsen 134. Jack has a grand plan on weaving Darkseid into the Fourth World, so it's really in many ways kind of not fair to rate the story books by book because it ties in and it's a longer story, much more complicated than can be told in just one book. So if I had to give a story, a rating on the story, I gave it a 3 out of 5. So altogether you have a 6 out of 10 for Forever People. This is one of my nicer copy. I have a whole bunch of these books. So that's it. Now when it comes down to the Fourth World, of all the things that Jack created, I would say Darkseid is my favorite of his creation from the Fourth World. and then I will put Demons, his second favorite, and then I put Orion. Orion is a pretty cool character. You know, a lot of people don't really like this cover, but I actually like it. I like that black, spacey look. I like the way he looks. I like his power. I give him a 4 out of 5 as far as name and power and look. And then as far as the story, once again, you know, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. So you have a 7 out of 10 for this book, because the story, once again, is part of a grand story. You have to read the entire epic saga that Jack had in mind to rate the entire story by itself. But as a standalone issue, I give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give you a closer look of this book. What's neat about this book is, in my opinion, up until this point, you know, you have Darkseid appearing in Jimmy Olsen 134, a little bit in 135. He appeared in here too. I'll give you a close-up look in here too. But in this book is the first time that you see, in my opinion, the best looking picture of Darkseid to date. Okay? Up until this point, I think for the first time, Jack nails it as far as the look of Darkseid. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Until the next video. Bye. Okay, so here's a close-up look of the two books. Forever People is one of those books that is really hard to find with white covers. Okay, so many of these books are tan and yellow for whatever reason, so I think this is one of my best copies. Probably the whitest copy I have, as well as the highest grade. Gorgeous, pretty sharp. And this book, and as well as New Gods #1, was inked by Vince Colletta, and I actually felt that Vince Colletta did a pretty decent job inking in these Fourth War issues compared to what he did in many of the Silver Age Marvel books, where I felt the inking was not very good. But for his work here, I liked it, and I have no problem with it. So let's see, there you go. That's one of the earlier image of Darkseid. Darkseid. I can never get that name right. I'm so used to calling him by Darkseid that I'm just naturally go back to that pronunciation. So let's see. Here's okay. So here's you go again. So there you go. That's the few glimpses that you see. Jack actually drew him quite a few times in this book, but you know, there you go. Like I said, not imposing or menacing enough. Okay, so there you go. Now let's move on to New Gods #1. This is one of my nicer copies. This book is hard to find in high grades because the way the cover was, it usually hides a lot of creases until you have the books in hand to examine. Often you see a lot of corner creases that you can't really tell from the scans because the art hides a lot of the flaws. Because let's jump real quick to the last page. There you go. Just look at that. To me, as I mentioned in the earlier part of this video, I felt that this is the first time that I felt Jack nails it as far as the look. Gorgeous. I love that last page right here. That's a good looking, menacing look that we all grew to love. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.